What is up, everybody? What's going on? I'm excited for this one. I go by Lindy Endzone. You already know how I do it here. And man, do I got a treat for y'all in the comments already. I know some of y'all were early, some of y'all were late. I apologize. We were a bit 15 minutes behind, but you know what? I gotta sit back and wait for my guys to come in. I can't start the stream without a single one of them. I'm telling y'all, this is a special stream right here. So shout out to these two for volunteering some of their time out of their day to come in and hang out with me. These are special guys right here. So I'm gonna reach out to these chats for a minute. Big Play Slay, you're a big supporter of mine. Good to see you in here, man. Philly Mike was just in here for a minute. Good to see you. The Philly Talk podcast. What's going on, Mike? I know you're doing your thing over there. But so here's the thing. As you can see, he goes by Jay Fizzle Dizzle, and we got Jordy in here. So these two guys, man, I came up just watching a lot of different Eagles content creators, right? I met these two through another channel. The channel had a Discord server, and this was I think towards the end of the 2016 season. We've talked for years and years about this football team. People have came and went in that Discord, but these two, including myself and many others, as the three of us know, we kind of banded together and created this sort of like OG group of guys in Discord that were always around to talk Eagles football, and that Discord was one of the bigger inspirations in my personal opinion to kind of accelerate the creation of my channel. So I'm gonna start this off. To my right on my camera, he goes by Jordy Fighter 14. That is also his Twitter handle. He is the owner of the Common Flock podcast, which I have experimented with a long time ago before my channel even existed. So he's got the Common Flock podcast, and he also has the Golden Dome podcast. He is a big Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, big fan of Ian Book and all those boys over there for the Fighting Irish. So Jordy, a big appreciation for you to hop on this stream with me. We're going to get some Eagles football going in. Glad you can make it, man.
Hey, thanks for letting me in.
Man, this was definitely exciting. And then to the bottom of my screen, one of the bigger voices in the Discord that we're a part of. Oh, he goes by Jay Fizzle Dizzle. You already know he's got the deal going on. He got it all in caps. He's all about the attitude. He's got the utmost passion for this football team, and he was just part of that band of brothers. Part of that band of brothers that really accelerated the talk of Philadelphia Eagles in the Discord, man. I love having. This is awesome for me. I love the opportunity to have you on this stream, man. Say hello to the people.
Hey, hello. How's everybody doing today? Yeah, man, we came in the Discord together. Like at the start of it, it was a great time. Had some fiery discussions. Had some good ups and some really, really bad downs, but we all stuck through it, right? And we kept going, bro, and it was a good time. My name is Jay Fizzle Dizzle. Jarrell is my actual name, but I go by Jay Fizzle Dizzle. And like I said, or like Lindy said, man, it's been nothing but dopeness being able to meet both of these guys and being able to talk football at any time of the day, randomly having conversations just about the team and what we're going through. And I'm so honored that you let me come through and everything. By the way, I take full responsibility for why the stream started a little bit later, because I am an idiot. I was scrolling through his Twitter trying to find the link to get everything through. So it's 100% my fault, but we're here now. So I'm ready to have a good time, man. Thanks for the invite. And I can't wait to get the show started.
Of course. I mean, that's you know, at the end of the day, man, I just had to, you know, I had the you know, utmost patience and just waiting for y'all. Doesn't matter. Everybody in here is, you know, completely understandable. You know, Big Play Slay already brought it out. It's okay. Yeah, we know it's okay, because the support I got for this channel is pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm 2 subs away from 60. That'll be 60% on the way to 100 subscribers. Whew! It's getting there. It's getting there. I'm pretty excited. You know, he also goes on to say the arising of Philly content creators is amazing to me. This community is so well rounded. Like, you got it. Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. You know, we talking about the city of brotherly love here. Of course, you gotta love it. That's just how it goes. But I mean, yeah. So I think part of the excitement of this stream is that I necessarily didn't get into deep dives into the draft with some of these guys in the Discord, and YouTube being included. So you know, we're gonna have plenty of conversation for the time moving forward. But I don't even know how long this stream is gonna go. That's up to y'all. I got as much time as y'all got. So man, with all these you know, with all these rumors going around and whatnot, Philly Talk Podcast. Oh, there's Mike back. Good stuff, man. I've been trying to get here. No. It don't matter. You're not. Listen, Philly Mike, you're not slacking to me. You know, you got some big things over there on your channel. It's completely understandable, man. You trying to reach out to as many people as possible. I get it. You know, listen up. When you got that many subscribers, I'm sure it gets busy, especially when you're the kind of person that's a family man, and you got outside responsibilities, and then you got your digital responsibilities with your channel and everything. That's just how it goes for anybody that's making it big in YouTube, and it is what it is. Totally understandable. Philly fan all day, otherwise known as Braden. Good to see you in here, man. I appreciate it. You hopping on in, whether it's for 5 minutes, 50 minutes, or 5 hours. Any contribution to viewing my content is appreciated. What's going on, everybody? So, as I was continuing to go on, is it fair to say that this is one of the more exciting drafts that I think we've been anticipating for the last few years, especially when we're considering the situation that the Eagles are in right now? We necessarily do not have that franchise cornerback moving forward, which is something I am big about. Cornerback, there's a lot of people that still have a question mark at the wide receiver position. We were pretty underwhelmed as to how they perform, more so guys like Jalen Reagor and John Hightower, who have kind of been, not so much on and off the field in John's case, but he was kind of in the doghouse for the moment, and Travis Fulgham was in there, and really I think one of the only bright spots was Quez Watkins, especially in that Arizona game where he showed what he can do as a 6th-round pick. And we talked about that. Running back was very underwhelming because of them not being used in the first place. A lot of Miles Sanders and trying to figure out that rotation, and Boston Scott, who was the giant killer for 2 straight games, against that NFC East rival. But man, so doesn't matter which either one of you goes first in this manner, but if there's any excitement in this case for this draft, what is it that barring Howie Roseman's decisions, of course, where
that was literally what I was about to say. So the excitement is definitely coming to see if Howie messes this up one way or another. That's what we'll see. I mean, coming in from the situation last year where we do finally pick up a wide receiver. Well, not finally, but we pick up a wide receiver in the first round. Somebody who did fit the team, how it looked last year with Jalen Reagor. And then in the second round, him throwing that grenade and going, you know what? Quarterback, why not? Let's just go ahead and burn everything to the ground. And then seeing how that went. It's exciting. Ready to see if Philly will go to the link and be ready to burn it down. That's about where I'm at right now, because again, if Howie doesn't come away with a pick that we can look at and go, okay, he's going to be a cornerstone, whether it be on offense or defense, him not being able to be under the gun and it really having that sense of job security with as many misses as he's had in the draft in the last couple of years. Like, yeah, we get a Miles Sanders, and yeah, we've gotten Josh Sweat was a undrafted free agent, correct? Or no, we picked it.
I thought he was a 4th-round pick.
Oh, yeah. Well, so there we go. Those are the only two in the last couple of years that I can look at and go, okay, these are people that I can see that we're going to be able to build around. Even Jalen Reagor from last year showing flashes. Again, first game comes out and grabs a 60-yard bomb, and then it's pretty much off the field after that, mainly because of injury, not because of a talent standpoint. And then watching the horror show that was the team last year, if we can't get somebody that we can at least see is going to help the team go in the right direction, it's going to be problems. It's going to be a lot of problems.
So you more so anticipating the downfall that ensues, riots, more so actual excitement.
Listen, be ready to see it go down, all right? Because again, even with us trading back and then getting a first-round pick for next year, it's still not a foregone conclusion that A, it's going to be a pretty decent pick, and B, that the pick that we got for Carson Wentz that supposedly can turn into a first is going to be a first. We're then banking on him actually being healthy. So really, we traded back and got a first for next year that could be a mid to low first rounder, depending on how Miami goes. And then we got a pick that's up in the air with the Carson Wentz trade. So and then hearing that they want to trade back up into the top 10 when you already were in the top 10, like, and then if we mess around and let somebody like Kyle Pitts end up in Dallas with that offense and we have to see him twice a year, problem. Or if he ends up in New York even with that offense, again, they've been on a roll lately too, and having them pick back to back and us being ahead of them originally, it's not going to be good, man. It's going to be major problems,
man. So looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi, typing in where Philly Mike. Well, for the moment, that was about 5 minutes ago. Philly Mike was actually in the chat. I was talking to him, a little bit as as he was posting some comments up there. But I think there could be potential here of me turning this into a live call. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. It could. It's a possibility. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm definitely going to throw it out there. But but as far as Philly Talk Podcast goes, Philly Mike was just in the comments for a little bit ago, Obi-Wan. But if the potential for a call in comes up, and if there's people interested enough, then I might open it. We'll see. We got quite a bit to go in this stream. We only about 14 minutes in, so I'm gonna throw this over to Jordy. I'm sure he's got quite an opinion on what this draft means to him and what he feels that it means to the Eagles organization. So take it away, Jordy. If you feel that there's any excitement in this draft, or are you looking at it from a different viewpoint?
Yeah, and I'm looking at this at a viewpoint of what Philly needs, but it's also what could work with the future. Because this somewhat feels like a rebuilding year could happen. And as much as we want to go receiver or corner, there's other spots we can also stack up on offense or defense, like get someone like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who is flexible and can play around at different positions. Micah Parsons, who can play on the D line or at linebacker if you want flexibility. And you've got a couple other guys sitting there that they moved down from 6 to 12 and are now in a range to say, do we want to pick this guy? And not only that, there's so many guys that you can look at as sleepers during the rest of the draft. So it's something to be excited for, but it all depends on how he does. And since there's 11 picks, I expect moves to be made somewhere. Whether it's doing something like last year we went for and got Marquise Goodwin, who didn't end up playing in a Philly uniform. They could go somewhat of that route and move around picks. We don't know. Hopefully it works out.
I guess that's all we can hope for at this point. Is like it seems like the biggest, sort of X factor here is, it's like, hoping Howie actually kind of steps down mentally in a sense and actually, listens to guys in the scouting department and doesn't have, his own draft board and it sucks at the same time because, it shouldn't be to where Andrew Weidel gives us more confidence in the Eagles drafting well than Howie Roseman is. It should be the other way around. If you're the general manager of this football team and you have what seems to be ultimate control of personnel. I mean, I felt more at ease listening to Andrew Weidel in that pre-draft conference than I did with Howie Roseman, because there was a lot of questions that he passed off, and and surprisingly enough, he didn't even defend himself in some of the questions with regarding his poor draft history in the first place, which it threw me off a little bit. I'm like, wait a minute, but
quick question though. With the report coming out that Howie did want to draft Jefferson, and Lori came in and told him it's not really how I want to go about it. Do you not have confidence in both of them, or do you feel that Howie is in a position Howie still is the main culprit of why most of these picks haven't been able to work out?
Big Play Slay adding in the chat. He's saying his name is Andy, and I kind of caught that for a second because I think I said Andrew Weidel, and I was like, I think I was being a little more formal with his name instead of using Andy. But I know his name is Andy. I just kind of spaced out a little bit and said Andrew instead. But I mean, I don't know. It's like, we're in a position where we feel that, between the GM and the owner, they kind of pull us in two different directions sometimes, and, all that speculation and all that controversy talking about Jeffrey Lurie had this, kind of dominant interest in this player, and Howie Roseman and Doug Peterson collaborated on this guy, and they wanted this player, and and then a year after whoever the pick was, it's like it turned out to be something completely different. So there's got to be a better balance of power. There's got to be less voices involved, especially those in the front office, or the matter of just like slowing your roll a little bit, like just trust that the guys that you bring in, especially the scouting department, trust in them to do their job, instead of wanting to overrule them as much as you attempt to in the first place. And and I don't necessarily get that feeling with this draft. Something's telling me not to feel this way, and I feel it has something to do with this with this new build, like with this new development of the coaching staff. It's like there's there's guys in here that are, you know, they're kind of new to the positions that they're in, you know, a la Nick Sirianni, and it seems that Nick Rallis is taking a little bit of a bigger role than he did in Minnesota. And these are, you know, Jonathan Gannon's actually a defensive coordinator this time, so it's like you got a mix of younger guys in here that are trying to prove themselves to be, you know, to be reputable at their said positions in a coaching staff or an organization. And then you got a good mix of veteran guys who have done this quite a few times before. Like we managed to retain Jeff Stoutland, and you know, we bring in that defensive line coach who's got quite a amount of experience in Tracy Rocker. You know, guys like that, and that kind of combination of youth and wisdom seems pretty promising in my opinion. And you know, we can only hope from here that you know, Howie just that he kind of looks at himself in the mirror for a minute and be like, you know, kind of like how Doug Peterson said it numerous times, you know, in post games. Well, we got to look at ourselves in the mirror. We got to look at ourselves in the mirror. And, you know, and number 11 said it countless times. But I mean, but as much as it was repetitive, there's validity to it at the same time. I mean, you know, Howie's kind of in a position where he has to be near perfect unless there's a offer under the table in place to extend him after this season. That, you know, maybe for all we know, Jeffrey and Howie already have an offer on the table. Like, you know, don't worry about it. We're going to extend you. Don't worry. Don't think of it as you're in the last year of your contract. We're going to extend you. Well, let's not hope that be the case unless you know, Howie magically turns over a new leaf. But no,
Howie better have pictures of Jeff doing some outlandish something to be able to keep his job through these ridiculous failures that he continues to have. He has to have caught that man doing something diabolical and is holding that over his head to continue to be able to have the job security that he has. It's ridiculous. And you kept saying that he should look himself in the mirror, and that's my problem. I think he looks himself in the mirror and he likes what he sees. He just goes, yeah, it is what it is. And even not to defend him, but to give him some understanding. Again, a lot of the players that he brought in, at least from skill position standpoints, let's look at wide receiver even, they've had the same issues where it's mainly been injury. Like we never got to really see Mike Wallace when they brought him in. We didn't get to see Marquise Goodwin last year because of the COVID situation. J-Jaw, his first season, was consistently injured. And also we had to deal with, oh my goodness, Mike, was it Mike? No, not Mike Groh. What was that man's name? Carson Welch, the wide receiver, who was a bum. Ugh. And we understand that situation and everything like that. But and also looking back at the genuine coaching of the team last year, it genuinely felt like the team, they never gave up, but they weren't going in the right direction. So to be fair to Howie, it has been him. He is definitely part of the problem, and he's definitely been a big conductor of why the team went south so fast. But also, more than anything, I think it's always been injuries and lack of development. And like you were saying, we've brought people in, so hopefully that changes the culture. Because again, outside of somebody being a home run hitter first day on the field, first day in pads, he's ready to go, and he's out here making changes, we're really not going to be able to know how great this draft was till about 2-3 years from now. And that's very problematic because, again, this is Nick's first year, and we don't want to set him up like we did Doug. If you look back at that 2016 draft, the only person that's still on the team is Isaac Seumalo. Like, that's it. And if you would have had a gun to my head and say pick somebody, of course I would say Carson, but you see how that worked out and everything like that. So I'm not nervous for the draft. I think I've reached some type of point of like numbness where I'm just like, If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's somebody needs to be held accountable, and it can't be Nick. Jeff can't fire himself. I mean, he can, he won't, but you have to really look. You got to look at Howie, and you got to be like, hey, brother, you need a home run hitter at some point in this draft for us to justify you being. And especially with the cap space situation too. Oh, we're broke. We're so broke. And yeah, no, he has to get somebody that we can look at and go. He has to get a Julio Jones type. He has to get somebody that to come in here. Jalen Ramsey has to get somebody, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna end up going either corner or wide receiver in the first round. I'd be surprised if we do anything else. And then people are gonna end up outside the link with torches. And that's what it is.
Well, speaking of looking in the mirror, I mean, you know, is it safe to say? I mean, Howie got one of them. You know, Disney movie mirrors where he, like, in his wardrobe, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the best GM of all?
It's just a picture behind him that has his name. It's just Howie. I am the greatest.
That's what I'm saying. You were just talking about, like, you know. It's a matter of, like, you think that, you know, how he looks at himself and he sees no flaws. I mean, you know, the analogies there kind of align. It makes a lot of sense. But I mean, let me you know what? Before I throw this over to Jordy, you guys are getting some pretty good compliments right here. Big Play Slate going, these guys are amazing, man. They have a good amount of knowledge for real. Look at that. First stream y'all are a part of, and man, you guys are hitting it off pretty damn well, I could say. But you know, all right, Jordy. I mean, you know, we're talking about Howie Roseman here, and how, you know, and it seems to this draft the draft seems to fall all on him as to whether we sink or swim. And I mean, it's like, where are you with the amount of impact that you feel that you know, Howie is going to show as far as his involvement?
I think he shows a lot of impact in his involvement, but and if we look at years past, he's had a lot of drafts that don't work out, but I don't necessarily think they're all on him. We've had Bedka at 2017, 2016. Those were years where you set up your head coach with everything they need. 2017, everything happened to work right. 2018, 2019, everything falls apart. Is that all Howie's fault? No, it's a mix of everything between coaching, atmosphere, potential owner interference, but it is a lot on him. Because at the end of the day, he's the one picking the moves and the players. And you look at what he's done and what he has done over the course of his tenure as GM. There's some patterns there that make me worry about this draft. We've already gotten a big trade out of the way, thankfully, which usually happens in all Howie drafts. So now we just have to look to who does he pick, and is it the right choice? Is he going to listen to his scouts, or is he going to listen to maybe Lurie or what the coaching staff wants, or is he just going to go off his own little board that doesn't roll with what the scouts say?
Yeah, I mean, you know, AK Eagles just threw it out right here too. I mean, he says, yeah, you can't excuse him passing on DK Metcalf and Justin Jefferson. You know how long that is. You know how long that is going to be in Eagles lore for decades to come. I mean, barring how sustainable these said receivers keep their performances based on the team that they remain with and everything. But I mean, you know, we talk about Justin Jefferson. He just, you know, he just brought it up as to how excited he's going to be to play, you know, Philadelphia Eagles, and how excited he is that we passed on him, and he can't wait to show us, you know, what he can do against our defense. And it's from a fan perspective, you know, there's times where it can't get any more embarrassing than that. But at the same time, I mean, we look at who he drafted, and I understand the criticism that's on Jalen Reagor right now, but we got to remember that we took a receiver who came from a smaller school, who didn't have very good quarterback play whatsoever. I think he had to deal with 3 different quarterbacks in that rotation at TCU. None of them were very good for that matter. I mean, you got to understand like who I get it. There's a skill standpoint where this differs. I understand going from receiver to receiver, but Justin Jefferson had Joe Burrow throwing him some footballs and whatnot, and I forget the name of the quarterback that was there in 2020. He wasn't as good as Joe Burrow, no question, he wasn't. But that you have to take that into consideration, and the situation that Jalen Reagor he kind of came into in Philadelphia in the first place. I mean, we were trying to build something. I felt at the beginning of 2020, we kind of got the personnel that we were hoping to look for as far as developing these guys, and we already know how that went. But one of the most notable things that we got to remember when we just talked about the coaching staff, Aaron Moorhead was retained. It's been how long since we consecutively kept a wide receivers coach at for these guys to learn under. So I mean, man, I get it with the Justin Jefferson thing, but it's like it's totally understandable, and that it's inexcusable. It's there's no understanding it, but I don't want to discount any of the rookies for that matter for just how last year's season unfolded. I can't discount any of them until I know that they're in a better structured situation to see what their potential truly is. Not to mention to have some consistent play at the quarterback position.
Fair. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. Real quick, with DK Metcalf and with Justin Jefferson, right? Taking DK Metcalf off first. DK Metcalf didn't get picked up till the 2nd round, okay? Everybody passed to the back end of the 2nd round. Everybody passed on DK. Not nobody, but a lot of people expected him nobody expected him to be as good as he was his rookie season. Again, he was just a physical specimen, but we got passed on by everybody. I don't know why Philly takes that so personal. Also, with Justin Jefferson's situation when he was in, Jalen Reagor was the fit for the team at the time with the offense we were trying to run. Again, when we look back at one of the reasons why we were so successful in 2017, it's because we had not Torrey Holt? What's his name?
Smith.
Torrey Smith, excuse me. We had Torrey Smith on the outside, and he was our speedster. He was there all season, and he was healthy. Those were the 3 things that we really needed more than anything like that. With us being so invested in Alshon Jeffrey, for whatever reason we were invested in Alshon Jeffrey, if we would have been able to get him, if he was able to stay healthy and Jalen was able to stay healthy, we basically got the same setup as far as the offense goes and how we're running it and everything like that. So in your mind, it makes sense. Okay, cool. You picked a player that fits the system. And it's not like he was a bum or anything like that. Like Lindy said, if you look at tape of him, he's always around the ball. He's a physical. I mean, he's not DK Metcalf, but he can jump. He's speedy. He's got pretty decent hands. The problem was his quarterback. We had a quarterback at the time that we thought was able to let it loose, throw the ball downfield, let him get under it. And again, we saw that day one, game 1, 60-yard bomb. His first play in the Eagles uniform. So you could see the idea of what he was going to be and everything like that. Now, being able to look over at Minnesota and see Justin Jefferson taking off and everything, by the way, they also sucked last year. So, meh. Like, Justin Jefferson was good, but meh. They were okay as a team. So I feel like the I feel like the disdain that we've been having for the wide receivers that we missed on is a little bit out of place. Like, we're upset, but I feel like we're upset at kind of the wrong situations. Again, it would be cool to pick up Justin Jefferson, but who's to say he's not in the same situation where he gets hurt and then Jalen Reagor somewhere taking off and being able to be on the field. And again, I forgot who we ended up picking up the second round the year DK got drafted off the top of my head. If y'all have that, go ahead and throw that at me. Huh? Was it J-Jaw? Yeah, it was J-Jaw. Excuse me. J-Jaw's another situation.
So quickly forget.
I'm sorry, J-Jaw, if you ever see this.
So quickly forget.
I have been pulling for you. You have been dealt the trashiest hand I've ever seen a wide receiver have to go through, from having that absolute bum Carson Welch as your number one wide receivers coach to having the team be completely injured your rookie season, and then people looking at you like you're the second coming of Julio Jones and you have to figure it out. And even with that, you still flash some talent. It's just you couldn't get everything together because our offense couldn't get everything together. So there's that situation. So I get everybody being upset about it and all of us looking at it like, wow, we could have had him. But one, we all passed on DK Metcalf. The entire league said, we'll see you later, DK. And two, again, one of the bigger issues this team has had over the last 4 years is health. Top to bottom, from every position, we have not been able to have somebody outside of Jason Kelce. And yeah, just Jason Kelce. I think it's the only person who I know consistently has been on the field every game almost. So that's it. That's the only person that we can look at and be like, that's our bargain guy. So yeah, I feel it, I understand it, but still, it's just for what Reagor was and what he was supposed to be for this offense. I get why we picked him over Justin Jefferson.
So I'm gonna get Jordy's take here in a second with this whole thing. But 2 points I want to bring up that's also included in the chat here. Big Play Slay was bringing it up where he goes, Reagor had some talent and the unique skill set was there, but Jefferson was the safer pick and the moral X type of wide receiver who could play in the slot. And no doubt, I mean, if we get a guy like Justin Jefferson, he can eventually take over. One of our favorites in Greg Ward, who was big in the slot, and Jefferson has the talent level that he can do pretty much. I'm not going to say a little, and I'm not going to say a lot, but he can do considerably more things than Greg Ward can, obviously. And you said it, J-Fizz. I mean, with the situation that we had as far as coaching personnel goes, with the wide receiver coach and Carson Welch, that he was not. From a talent perspective, talent at any skill position is only going to take you so far. Without good coaching, your talent's only going to take you so far. If you don't have good coaching to back you up, then you're gonna reach a limit sooner than breaking your ceiling. But so let me see, where is that comment? Yeah, here we go. Fireman saying, is J-Jaw that bad, or the quarterback's just not getting him the ball? I mean, I could attest to J-Jaw's development wasn't the greatest, for one. Two, in that draft, he was mocked to the 4th, as late as the 5th round, and we took him in the 2nd because there was a lot of teams that weren't necessarily high on J-Jaw in the first place. And and as we know as Eagles fans, there's we like the aggressiveness, and we know how this front office works, that if they want their guy, they're going to take him no matter how early it is. And but yeah, like I just said, J-Jaw was mocked a lot later than when we took him. And if I recall, I don't remember seeing a guy like Travis Fulgham on the field have such a miscommunication that he disrupts another receiver's route. And that was pretty clear in the second Washington football team game in 2019, where the communication with the receivers on the field wasn't good whatsoever. And it was that play where Dallas Goedert made a one-handed grab towards the sideline because Carson had to lead him towards the sideline, and he ended up having to make a one-handed catch because he was late coming to the ball due to the disruption in the route running of J-Josh. So I mean, you know, when we talk about that position, it seems, I don't know, it's whether it's the coaching or whether it's the talent, but to me so far it seems that a guy like Travis Fulgham is a little bit further along than Arcega-Whiteside, and you know, I don't know, but that's what I see when it comes to the receivers. So I mean, you know, let's hope that Arcega-Whiteside actually comes out of this slump. He's not afraid of the sun anymore. That his mama don't need to be holding that umbrella. So, but,
that man live, bro. It's just his mom, man.
Oh, but okay, Jordy. So I kept you hanging for quite a bit here, but I mean, what is your stance on Jalen Reagor, and what do you think? What do you think is one of the more how can I put this? What do you think is one of the more convincing factors that the wide receiver position isn't as much of a need as a lot of Eagles fans think?
Now, my stance on Jalen Reagor has been construed over the year. I haven't really spoken about it. I haven't really thought about it because he just hasn't been in the position to produce. He was hurt what, twice? And he didn't get much playing time outside of that, where he was getting actively targeted and looked at. Factor that into being in an offense that struggled with receivers constantly going down, an offensive line that lined up 11, 12 different combinations, and a quarterback who's just not all there for the season. That's not a recipe for success. And not everything worked out like how it looked like how we thought it would. I said it from the start that a full speed receiver core was not going to work. It didn't work like they thought it would. You can't line up 4 speed guys and expect to run it like Torrey Smith was doing back in 2017. You need to have that general group of guys that have different skill sets, like an Alshon or a Fulgham or somebody you can put on the outside that can catch, that is your possession guy. And then you've got your speed guy that can disrupt, your tight end that's going to be catching passes over the middle, or somebody that's your security blanket, and then your slot receiver who can do a bit of everything. They didn't line that up. Zach Ertz struggled. We didn't see much of Quez. We didn't see much from Fulgham after his snaps slowed down, and everybody else didn't really produce, especially Greg Ward, who is he was talked about a lot going into the season, and then it was radio silent. I think as much as Jalen Reagor didn't produce like everyone thought he would, he didn't have the help around him.
I agree. I agree with that to an extent, definitely. I mean, you know, we look at this offense, and there's a lot of cases where in order for the system to work as a whole, it needs to be a well-oiled machine. Like everybody, you know, at the end of the day, everybody kind of needs to do their part. And then, you know, when one spot isn't necessarily working, it limits to what you can do as an offense. So, you know, that allows the defense to zero in on specific targets. It makes reading the field a little more difficult for the quarterback because you're taking, you know, it's easier for the defense to take his weapons away, and you know, it just goes downhill from there. And you know, Big Play Slay also says it here. He goes, I kind of feel bad for J-Jaw a little. He was in a horrible scheme that didn't fit his skill set. He wasn't properly used, and when they used him, he showed some flashes. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the flashes were there. The flashes were definitely there, but you know, you can also argue in the same breath that they weren't necessarily consistent enough either, and it's just and it just has to do with like I said, there was a lot of pieces in place that that they kind of didn't necessarily work together, and that I mean, as Jay Fizz has said it before, this situation with J-Jock kind of reminds him of another receiver that he feels that we did wrong in Matt Collins, but that's another tangent that we're not going to bring up. We're not going to bring up that tangent right now because I already know.
Talk about it. We got time. We got time to talk about how.
Are we going to?
I already know that you're going to. I already know that you're gonna extend this stream by an additional 40 minutes by talking about Matt Collins. I already know. So I mean, I'll bring this up too as well. So Big Play Slay also says the Eagles wanted to implement what the Chiefs did in 2019 that ultimately won them the Super Bowl. And yeah, I mean, and it's almost obvious in a sense because you go back to the roots of Doug Peterson coming off of that Andy Reid tree with that with that West Coast mix of an offense, and we've complained about that at times. There was too many occasions where Doug Peterson felt that he had a Kansas City Chiefs style offense, and obviously all of our skill position groups were almost like even 2 tiers under what Kansas City had. We didn't have anybody close to a Tyreek Hill or a Mecole Hardman or what's his face? Even I think it was his name, Demarcus Robinson, that we tried to sign as a free agent. We didn't even have anybody remotely close to him, and he was further down the depth chart at that position group of wide receivers. AK Eagles also chimes in. He's talking. I feel with Travis, Jalen, Hightower, and Watkins, we have talent. We just need to see more game time reps. They didn't play enough last year to give a direct answer on our wide receiver position. That's all the way 100. That also ties into the fact that we invested too much time in these veteran guys, thinking that they would come back to at least a competitive form on the football field to where they can maintain a chemistry with number 11. And we've seen some flashes of that with Deshaun Jackson. There was points where Deshaun Jackson felt like he was playing with number 11 for over 10 years. Like their connection was that spot on. But you're talking about arguably one of, if not the greatest deep threat receiver in the history of the NBA, and his stats show it. I mean, I'm not going to go into detail, but we know what Deshaun Jackson brings to the field when he's on the field, for that matter, when he can play more than 2 games in a row. But that's not the here nor there. So AK Eagles actually agrees with Jay Fizz on this. He says, I agree. Here we go. I agree. He goes, I agree. Mac was sad, man. Pissed me off. Should have never let him go. I feel you. So there you go. Jay Fizz, there you go. Outside of the Discord, you got a support system with Matt Collins. And yeah, I mean, I guess I'm coming around to the idea too. I mean, and this is also to bring up that there's people in the content creator community and elsewhere that they're it's going to bother me that I don't remember his name now. There's a receiver that people are saying we need to look into interviewing. That's also a UNC Tar Heel that's going to be in this draft. And, Matt Collins was also a Tar Heel. I think he came in at like 6'4", and he was a good weight. He had decent speed on him. And, he came and went in that offense between 2017 and 2018, and then we never heard from him again. So, I mean, I don't necessarily. I guess what? I'll be nice. It's the first stream with these 2 guys. For those that don't understand, the comparison between the Arcega-Whiteside situation and Matt Collins situation, Jay Fizz, I think you can summarize it well enough that it won't carry an extra 40 minutes. But this is your soft spot. This is your soft topic, and it's. I'm telling you guys, this has irritated him for years, and he felt that he's felt that Matt Collins also got the short end of the stick. So I mean, for those that have lost patience with Arcega-Whiteside, we remember this Matt Collins situation. Yes, correct. AK Eagles, thank you. Diami Brown out of UNC. Yes, that is who I'm talking about. So yeah, I mean, for those that aren't in close, that for those that can't necessarily relate this Arcega-Whiteside situation to what happened to Matt Collins, fill us in a little bit, Jay Fizz, on where your irritation lies.
So again, first of all, AK Eagle, you're my guy. I love you forever. We're right here. We're together. I'm bumping with you, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Long story short, we drafted Matt Collins. He showed talents of being the downfield deep play threat that we've been looking for and wanted to replace for so long. He was there during the 2017 season when we had Torrey Smith. Again, came in, had that really big play against Washington. It was a really dope play. And then me looking at him the following season when we brought in Mike Wallace, or what was it? Was Mike Wallace before the? Yeah, Mike Wallace was after that. So we bring in Mike Wallace, and me and my thinking of how the wide receiver core is gonna be set up. I thought we were gonna have Alshon Jeffrey, J. Jaw. We were gonna have Nelly in the slot, and then whoever, and then on the other side we were gonna have Mike Wallace, and we were gonna have Matt Collins as the two deep threats. Season starts, Mike Wallace breaks his leg immediately. I think 2 games into the season. I'm like, okay, cool. It's Matt Collins' time to shine. This is what he was doing last year. He's a deep play threat. This is why we drafted him outside of the special teams play that he also could do, and got nothing out of him. Again, and everybody was looking at him going, well, why aren't you catching the ball? There was a lot of other problems going on. Namely, wide receiver coaching was absolutely awful. Again, we can see with the development of J. Jaw and how that hindered him so long. B, play calling was also sus, and which led to the firing of not Carson Welch. What is that? Bums. Mike Rowe. Ugh. Throw him in the trash. And you can see how again, he was kind of the sacrificial lamb for that situation, and he ended up being the odd man out, and we ended up bumping him out before the season even ended. Flash forward to this season now, we see that we're still having the same type of problems, and Matt Collins isn't here. We're still talking about J. Jaw the same type of way. People are now looking at Jalen Reagor the same type of way, where it's like, well, you did this, but why aren't you consistent with it? Problem wasn't there.
We even tried to feature Matt Collins in 2019. He caught a couple of balls in the Falcons game. It was that one where number 11 was his knee just about hit the turf, and he tossed that ball, and Matt Collins actually made a pretty nice diving grab for it, he actually I mean, yeah, it was a great catch. So it sucks. And you talked about Mike Rowe, and he could have arguably stayed the wide receiver coach, because one could argue he should have never been promoted. He was better at his original position, for that matter. And when Mike Rowe was the wide receivers coach in 2017, I mean that probably led to the beginning of Matt Collins' development, with how he played on the football field. He was, and we seen him in moments in the Super Bowl. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, it's really frustrating to see players be able to have to take the brunt and have to take the heat for coaching situations and bad play calling when you can obviously see it. And then, like we said, I've been sitting on this hill for so long, bro. I got dragged all up and through our Discord for trying to defend this man. But again, the same problems are there. He's not there, but the same problems that I said that we had are there. So that's all. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I was right, but I was. So it is what it is, man.
So your guy's still in here. AK Eagle, he's still in here. He's like, I feel you. He made that 60-yard touchdown against Washington right after halftime, and then he was gone. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it.
Even the Miami game in 2019, bro. Like, again, that was the last game he played with us, was against Miami. He was down the sideline. Carson overthrew him, and the ball was out of bounds. But he had a step on the defender. He could have made the play if the ball was right in his area. So, like I said, man, I still think I don't think he's a world-changing talent. All right. I don't think he's gonna be the next coming to Deshaun Jackson. But as far as a player with skills that we could have used and could have been a help to this team and could have developed, and then we didn't, and we just threw him away, Mack Hollins is a perfect example. And that really is my biggest fear as far as J-Jaw goes, because again, it's not his fault. Like, you can see it. His first season wasn't his fault all the way. Again, him being forced to learn every position the way he was, again, by Carson Welch and them putting so much on to him and him not being able to retain it and develop that way, and then coming in the very following season and having the problems that we had. You can see that players he's not going to be able to get the chances that he deserves, and that's just how the way the game goes sometimes, man. And it sucks that it is that way. But you try to I mean, now that we have a whole brand new coaching staff, hopefully they'll be able to implement something in him, and then also being able to have the same wide receivers coach who got product out of our wide receivers last year when they were actually on the field. Again, the Travis Fulgham coming in and being the star that he was for the couple of weeks before whatever reason he stopped being on the field. You could see that, you know what I'm saying? You could see that he was on his way to being a really, really big staple of the offense. So, and I think J-Jaw can also do that, man. It's just, it comes down to if this team can come together and if bodies can stay healthy and coaching can get the best out of the players. It's really that simple.
Yeah, imagine, we talked about the Miami game in 2019 kind of being the last that we've seen of Mack Hollins, and then he goes to Miami to essentially crash and burn, and they didn't really have much use for him either. But it just dawned on me as to like the connection with Mack Hollins and from the past. Like, wasn't Mack a first round or a fourth round pick too?
Mm-hmm.
Who was the fourth rounder last year? John Hightower. I mean, the relation is there. It's ridiculous, But so AK Eagle, you know what? Look at the support you're getting here, J-Fizz. Stick to your guns, bro, because you're right.
Where were you 2 years ago, bro? Where were you? I needed you, homie.
Big Play Slay also saying Mack Hollins had a trembling amount of talent. He was physically gifted. It could have been developed if he was properly used correctly. Yeah, it's just a detriment as to how this team has not been able to develop players, in recent history, and unfortunately it continued into the COVID season. And yeah, AK also bringing up, he's like, no, I understand. He would have been solid, not a superstar, but solid. But that's where the Eagles make a lot of their bread and butter, is these not this necessarily superstar, not this superstar group like that superstar caliber group of players. We've been known to bring in these guys that that are serviceable to an extent, and to the fact that they work for what we're looking for. And but man, we went on such a tangent with a bunch of stuff that happened in the past, and we're already close to an hour in. Comments are dropping in like nobody's business for that stream. And this is definitely an experience that I'm not going to forget, especially how much you two. I mean, I'm not going to be a softie here, but all the way 100, how much you two have influenced, and Man, see, I'm jumbling on my words right now, but how much you two and others alike have influenced my my determination to come up with a channel, and the amount of the amount of football that we have talked over the years, and it's quite a good experience for y'all's first kind of taste of YouTube. Not to say that you don't have it, Jordy. You got both of your podcasts, but to be in a collaboration with somebody else, it's unbelievable. I'm having a hell of a time right now, and so AK Eagle continuing to go. He's like, no, I get the frustration, man. Why do we even draft players? Because we never use them, and when we do, it's not properly. But as a diehard Eagle fan, I am used to heartache. He goes, he's like, sorry, bro, I'm 33. I just recently got into all this. Like, oh man, see, this is the thing, though. This is the thing, though, with the Eagles community, and this is not to say that other fan bases don't have this, but what I have learned, through YouTube and outside of YouTube, we're talking over, we're talking to each other, whether it's through chat rooms and some of us, make these channels, but it's like, it's like we never met before, but I can't describe it how an NFL team brings a fan base together. It's different. It's different, man. Like I can't describe it, but I guess when the fan base gets this kind of close knit, it's I'm having a hard time describing it, but from that, with that said, we got to get into this draft. Enough talking about past misfortunes and how this team just can't seem to stay consistent in any matter whatsoever. Birdman 951 hopping in. What up, man? So the last call in I did, Birdman was a real trooper. He's a trucker, and he actually came into the call-in while he was driving at night, and we were doing some mocks and everything. Shout out to him. That kind of commitment's crazy, man. I gotta give I gotta give props where it's due. That this support's unbelievable. I can't stress that enough. But so with that said, this draft. And I know I necessarily haven't talked to you two specifically in depth with how we feel we should approach this draft right now. We're picking a 12. I feel that we're not going to use all 11 of our picks. We already know Zach Ertz is rumored to be traded at some point. Whether it's during the draft or at the end of the draft, whatever it may be. He's going to have to be trade bait, during the draft, depending on how these players fall. And no matter what we say about these top quarterbacks going early in the top 5, maybe reaching the top 10, it's still unpredictable, because a lot of these teams, as they sit, have similar needs to the Eagles in the first place, barring the exception of teams that need a quarterback. The 49ers have been in talks with it for quite a while now, and they seem to be more of a mess than we are at the moment, because they can't decide on what quarterback they want. 1 minute it's Mac Jones, the next minute it's Trey Lance. Then there's mocks talking about, it should be Justin Fields. Well, what you're pulling us in multiple directions here. As unpredictable as Howie Roseman is, at least we can't compare our situation to what the 49ers are going through right now, because their team is a lot more solid than ours. They just need a quarterback to take it to the next level, and I don't feel that we're at that point. So at 12, I guess I'll push this one to Jordy, and he can start with this one. And I guess I'll go last. I'll leave it to you two first. So Jordy, offense or defense at 12, or do we trade up or trade back?
I think we stick at 12 and go for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Mm.
And I don't say that lightly, because I know I'm a Notre Dame fan and all, but I try to do this all bias aside, and there's a lot of scenarios where I see him coming here and excelling. Because I've put the stats in the Discord before. He's played a lot in the slot. He played more of an outside linebacker position. He played a couple snaps at safety, I'm pretty sure, and he played on the D-line. You can move him around. If you wanted to move him more D-line, outside linebacker, 3-4 kind of setting, would you have to bulk him up? Yeah. If you wanted to move him back to corner or safety, he has that size to be there already. And he's an undersized linebacker. That's all everyone's talking about, is he's undersized. Well, he performs for what he's at. And we don't have that real number one linebacker right now. You have Eric Wilson coming in, and you've got guys like Singleton and Edwards there, but there's no true number one. And you need that guy, and I think Owusu-Koramoah can be that guy.
Wow, it's pretty high praise coming from a Fighting Irish stan. Like you said, fandom aside, I mean, the way you talk about JOK makes it seem that it's kind of obvious that he has a lot more versatility than a guy like Micah Parsons, who's been, who hasn't necessarily been at the linebacker position as long as JOK in the first place. He started out as a defensive end and then transitioned to linebacker, where he's kind of more so of an attacking linebacker, that he still has like defensive end tendencies to his game. Like a lot of times all he wants to do is go after the quarterback, and then when he's not, he still has the ability to play in coverage. I mean, as much stock as we want to put into 40 times, we're talking about a linebacker who ran in the 4.3s. I mean, that's disgusting, freak of nature sort of thing. But from a defense standpoint, and when Jim Schwartz was here, as much as we love or hate him, I called him Jim Shorts for that matter. But what did he predicate a lot of his defensive players on? And the biggest thing to him was versatility. So, when we talk about that, yeah, obviously JOK would be a perfect fit in a Jim Schwartz defense. But you can also say you could also say the same for Jonathan Gannon. The way that Mike Zimmer used to like to utilize guys like smaller guys like Eric Kendricks and Anthony Barr, the way those guys play in that Minnesota defense, and we look at a guy like Eric Wilson that had to come into the fold pretty early last season because of them dealing with injuries on the defensive front, and he did what he needed to do. And I mean, from this point, I want to say that it's going to be more likely than not that Eric Wilson is probably going to be the designated number one linebacker based on competition, just based on competition and the fact that, he has a head start with what Jonathan Gannon wants from a defensive perspective. But I don't know. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at JOK at 12, but I'll get into what I want, but I'll drop this to Jay Fizz to debate Jordy's point. Go ahead, bud.
So listen, Jordy last year told me about what's his name? Claypool last year, immediately. Like day one, let me know about Claypool. Chase Claypool. Chase came in to Philly and proceeded to body us. Now, yes, it's because Nate Gary doesn't know how to look up or move his legs in a unit in a motion. But yes, he's 100% right. Anytime Jordy says says a player from says anything about a player from Notre Dame, I am 100% on board with it. So I got you, man. Me personally, I think I think the reason why we're seeing so many mock drafts go in so many different positions is because this team has holes, and we got to fill them. Bringing in Darius Slay last year and then seeing who his running mates were has me leaning towards corner in the first round. Again, Horn should be there, which would be a really great pickup for us. I would very much love that. Also, but it also puts us in a really weird situation where if there's a quarterback available, and I don't know what quarterback they're looking at that'll be available at 12. I mean, Fields maybe, but he's been getting slandered for whatever reason. He's been getting slandered, but I don't see that much of an improvement from him to Hurts. So I wouldn't see why they would go that situation, at least not at 12. Maybe later in the draft, if they want to pick him up and he's still there, then I would understand that. Not the second round. Not the second round, though. All right. If he's still there in the third round, he probably won't be. But if he's there in the third round, I'm all here for it. So my pick, if it's me, I say you help Darius Slay be the best player that he can be. You get him a corner that not that we know, but somebody that we think could be another blue chip player that we can be like, okay, cool, we'll set you on that side. We'll leave you alone for over there, and then we'll just let you develop and figure it out. It would give me vibes of kind of when we had Sheldon Brown and Lito Shepherd, and we were just able to let them guys be able to handle their own, especially with Kevon in the backfield too. He'll start playing a lot more safety, and then the free agent safety that we brought in from Minnesota, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, sorry. But
Anthony Harris.
Yeah, Anthony Harris. I think that all together would be a nice little core to help build around. However, if you see if Smith is there at 12, you got to pick him up. If somehow by the grace of God, Kyle Pitts is there, you pick him up. Especially with us probably end up trading Zach Ertz out of town. So you got to pick him up. Those are kind of my two things. I mean, Horn is probably the more logical piece, and then if by the grace of God we're able to get Kyle Pitts in there, and I think the combination of Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert, and then having a wide receiver core that's had a year to grow together, I think, and actual coaching and then a brand new offense, I think all that together would be able to help out a lot. My biggest fear, though, honestly, is that I could see Howie going lineman, offensive lineman. Again, I don't know who would be able to take that position, but Howie does what Howie wants to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if we picked up an offensive lineman, and Howie think it's a big play move. But I mean, we need it, so there's that situation. But my pick is Joe Horn, or not Joe Horn, Horn. Excuse me.
Oh man, J.C. Horn. I tell you what, that's music to my ears, Jay Fizz. That's J.C. Horn has been my guy for quite some time now. It's just the athleticism that he possesses, and the jump of improvement that he took from 2019 to 2020 is absurd. We're talking how he used to get abused by guys like Devontae Smith and company, and how he came into the next year, really held his own, and became one of, if not the best corner draft prospect in this class. I can't tell you how impressive it is, but it's to not also discount Patrick Surtain at the same time. I mean, from a comparison standpoint, compare or contrast, Surtain, seems like he's the more technically sound corner, but he doesn't. I think JC has a bit more of, like you were saying, that blue chip feel to him. Like he's got a little bit more aggression, and and a little nugget here. We're talking about a J.C. Horn who at one point worked with Jalen Ramsey, of all people.
Yeah.
I mean, and Brett Coleman is one that has said that he gave him one of the highest grades for a corner in this draft since Jalen Ramsey. So just when I bring up the fact of the amount of improvement that he made over the course of 2019 to 2020, and you know, the family pedigree that he has, you know, his father Joe Horn, he's not gonna come into this league. You know, he's not going to come into this league to fall flat on his face, and I can tell you that. And I could say the same thing for Asante Samuel's son. Both of them got a chip on their shoulder. They know the pressure that they're under for, you know, for how well of players, you know, that their fathers have been in this league. And we damn well know we damn well know how good Asante Samuel was. So, I mean, but yeah, if we stay at 12, and I'm hoping we do, because the one thing I can agree with, in a sense, to what Howie explained as a flexible opportunity as to why we traded from 6 to 12. That's one. In that sense, when we look at the 12th pick, there's still a lot of flexibility there. There's still a lot of potential, but it's all going to depend on how these players fall. My nightmare scenario is that the Dallas Cowboys are actually smart this year and take a guy like J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain. So I don't want it to happen by any means whatsoever. Dallas does not have to worry about their offense. You know, is their offensive line on the older side? Yeah. Is there injury concerns with, you know, guys like, I think, Lyle Collins and you know, Zach Martin and I think his name's Tyron Smith. You know, we're talking about a banged up offensive line for Dallas, but outside of that, their weaponry between Amari Cooper and you know, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott's coming back, hopefully healthy, you know, for the sake of the Dallas Cowboys fans. And, you know, Zeke Elliott, if he can make that jump and come back to the, you know, the Pro Bowl caliber running back that he is, their offense has really no issues. If they get another outside corner to pair with Trevon Diggs, especially Patrick Surtain, I don't want that to happen whatsoever, because, you know, they need defense, obviously, and they brought over, you know, they brought over somebody somewhat reputable in Dan Quinn to run that defense, and because it didn't work with Mike Nolan, and you know, the secondary was one of the biggest troubling positions for Dallas, and, you know, so yeah, my nightmare scenario is that they take one of the two top corners in this draft, whether it's Surtain or Horn. Yeah, I guess that's another nightmare scenario for us, is if we draft Kwity Paye. I don't want a defensive lineman at 12 whatsoever, you know, whether it's Christian Barmore or Kwity Paye. I don't want anybody on the defensive line. You know, for me, corner is, you know, at this spot, corner is the biggest need. Darius Slay is only here for 2 more years. Who's going to play on the outside? We're already complaining about Avonte Maddox, that he should move back into the slot. Nikhil Roby-Coleman was a failed experiment. He's not here anymore. So who do you like? Who do you like behind Avonte Maddox? Because most of us aren't worried about Darius Slay at all. I don't think any of us are worried at all. It's just that the pieces around him pretty much either got hurt or failed. So you talk about the cornerback position. Who do we like that's behind Avonte Maddox, assuming he moves back to the slot? You guys like Michael Jacquet? Do you like Kevon Seymour? No, I don't think any of us do. They got potential, no doubt, but they're more than likely camp bodies going into 2021. So, I mean, you need a trend-setting franchise corner, especially when Darius Slay leaves. And you know, my pick is a corner at 12. So that's how it should go. I mean, you know, we got Dan Katz in here. He's talking about trading up for Jalen Waddle. He says he'd rather go for Waddle and get a corner in a second. So I mean, this is the problem. This is the problem that I have in the second. We haven't had much luck with drafting corners, especially You know, especially in that kind of soft spot in the second round, we haven't had much luck. And, you know, as of recently, you know, the last corner we drafted in the second round, you know, regardless of the injury issues, Sidney Jones didn't work out whatsoever. So, I mean, it's hard. There's some good tier guys in there at the corner spot. I mean, you know, if you're afraid of if you're afraid of injury, then are you staying away from a guy like Caleb Farley or Greg Newsome has had some injuries. You know, Campbell is all right. Robinson is okay. Ifeatu out of Syracuse is pretty damn good, but you know, I want to guarantee that I'm going to have a week 1 starter at that cornerback spot opposite of Slay. And I think the only way that I'm going to get that is by taking either Surtain or Horn at 12 if we stay at 12. But that's my opinion on it. I'm staying at that spot. I want a corner at 12. No ifs, ands, or buts. Second.
Well, quick question. Well, 2 things. One, to piggyback off of you, another reason why I think we need corner is, like you were saying, not only Dallas would have a wide receiving core, but also looking at New York, they're getting it together. Them bringing in John Ross. Even though John Ross really hasn't been the wide receiver, we all thought he was kind of going to be like a Deshaun Jackson type, and that hasn't worked out just because of injuries and everything like that.
Well,
I think the year before, he filled it up. Say again?
John Ross and Kenny Golladay, both injury issues.
I'm saying, but even though he's not kind of the deep play threat that we all thought he would be in Cincinnati, he still ended up having an 8 touchdown season. He was somehow a red zone threat like that. So we gotta have bodies around. We gotta have people that we could stick on these wide receivers, if not just for the team, just to stay alive in the division. It's going to be a problem, man. Oh. It's going to be a problem if we don't get some help over there.
Yeah, I had a quick put a comment in the chat there. I mean, yeah, you know, Big Play Slay bringing up a hefty crowd tonight. Yeah, no, you know, I had to put it up there. No doubt. No doubt. This is you know, it's a little bit overwhelming as to, you know, how successful this has been going. Almost an hour and a half in, there's people still engaged in our conversation right now. I gotta give it to y'all. It's a big thank you coming from me. It's a big thank you for these two even hanging out with me in the first place. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Big Play Slay going. It's usually just him and another fan of mine, Nightings, in here. Yeah, but you know, this is crazy. But you know what? When you have guys coming in like, you know, the Philly Talk podcast, Philly might come in here, Philly and Joe Castro. They kind of bring the crowd with them because they're, you know, and it's funny because I considered them celebrities to the content creator community just because of the number of subscribers that they have. And, you know, here's me just trying to reach 100, and these guys are into thousands already. So that's why I consider them celebrities in that matter. But you know, that's not the here nor theirs. But you know, we talk about nightmare scenarios, and you know, we only just discussed pick 12. So I think we need to go. I think we need to dive a little bit further here and go, you know, second through just about towards the end, because you know, I think we all agree that we're not going to use 11 picks. So like for me, my dream scenario between the first and the second round, it would be corner in the first at 12, and then the second I would want a linebacker, and then third for me would have to be between. I wouldn't mind a receiver in the third, but I also wouldn't mind. Oh, let's say. Wow, maybe. I'm not even sure at that point because I got a lot of choices. I mean, I don't see us taking a safety in the third, although we could use depth there. But yeah, so I've been really focused on the first two. I'm hoping that it works out that way. For like the biggest, like the first two picks for me in my prediction are, you know, what I'm really hoping for is corner and then linebacker. Big Play Slay, you're killing me, man. You keep trying to bring in this this legend notion. Yeah, I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started. I can't say I'm a legend just yet, man. There's guys that are that have been doing this for quite some time. But so let's get in. Okay, dream scenarios. Jordy, the Fighting Irish Stan that you are, that you want JOK as your first pick for the Eagles in the draft. Dream scenario, man. Let's put some realism in here. So dream scenario outside of pick 12. Who else do you want and why?
Honestly, looking outside of pick 1 in the second round, where we are right now, I really want to see us, if we follow the trend with linebacker in the first, to go corner. Whether it's Asante Samuel Jr. or somebody else who's going to be playing that outside, I'd like to see somebody who can at least play there besides Slay at 2. And then in the third, I've been kind of up and down here, but I gotta say, receiver. We need somebody. We need somebody in there in that room, because I don't know how long Greg Ward's gonna last. And he is the oldest guy in there, and it's the same thing with Quez Watkins. I don't know how much longer he's gonna last in the system before somebody comes in and boots him out.
That's pretty valid. I mean, we talk about Greg Ward being the oldest receiver in the group. Greg Ward's 26. Put it that way. I'm pretty sure he's about 26 or 27. That says quite a lot with the amount of experience that we don't have at the receiver position. I know there's some of us that would have liked a veteran, signed towards the beginning of the free agency period. But, at this point, we still have up until August to bring in somebody if we really wanted to. So, it could go either way. So, I mean, when comparing my dream scenario to yours, we're kind of flip-flopped with the first 2 picks, but it's still all in the same. It's pretty accurate for the most part, but drop it to Jay Fizz and see if he can go a little bit further outside of the third round. What scenario are you looking at?
So yeah, like I agree with both of you guys. Again, like I said, we just got so many doggone holes on this team that can definitely be filled. I do like pick. I know I said Joe Horn in the first. I would be totally fine if we doubled down on corner and then also was able to pick up Asante Samuel Jr. in the second round. I think, again, having pieces that we know come from players and also are very talented within themselves, I think that would very much help us out and be able to establish a core. Like I said, it would give minutes of Lee Shepard, Sheldon with us, and then be solid players, and it would literally help that defense out so much, especially again in our division. I do very much want at some point in this draft, no later, like around the third, no later than the fifth, that we get a running back. I was very hyped to see that we re-signed. I forgot the boy's name. Good Lord. The running back we re-signed from that we got from Chicago. Oh my goodness, I can't remember his name.
Jordan
Howard. Yeah.
Jordan Howard. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jordy. Yeah, Jordan Howard. So I was so hyped that we re-signed Jordan Howard. Him being just a power back and everything. He's been having some injury problems that really didn't start until he got to Philly, but even that, his resume before 2,000-yard seasons and a 900-yard season. So he's a beast and everything. But I do think that we need to start building to the future, and then we also need to make sure that Miles Sanders has a running mate and somebody that can take over the load if he ends up getting injured like he has been in the last 2 seasons. I think that is a very big thing that we need to do, especially with either us not trusting all the way in Jalen Hurts or bringing in another young quarterback. Having a strong run game helps that out and makes his job so much easier, so we don't have to keep depending on him to dig us out of holes and also you know what I'm saying, throw the ball 150 times. Now that we got a new coach in place, not from the Andy Reid tree, really, it's nice to, I think we will start running the ball a lot more, and that'll definitely help. Also, at some point, we need to address tight end with Zach Ertz pretty much being on the way out, with Dallas Goedert also having an injury situation that's continuous where he misses multiple games per season. We definitely need another body in there. Like I said, if by the grace of God, Kyle Pitts falls down, that's like the ultimate dream scenario. But I'm not going to hold my breath for that and everything. I do agree with you guys. Linebacker is a situation that needs to be looked at and taken very serious, and we haven't done that in a very, very long time. And again, a couple years back when we ended up picking up Jordan Hicks, I think we got him in the third or fourth round. You know what I'm saying? So if we could pick up another player like that, that'd be really great. But dream scenario, again, if we could somehow come out with Kyle Pitts, but I'm not holding my breath for it. If we can somehow get Horn and Samuels in the building and help them, and they both develop and be able to be tandem mates together and everything like that, especially learning under Slay, I think that would be a really great scenario, and one that probably could possibly happen too, especially with us ended up trading Zach Ertz. I don't know what we'll get extra for him. I mean, I don't think we'll be able to get a second for an older tight end who still is a beast, but is in the last year of his contract, and they're going to have to pay out. I'm guessing we'll get maybe a fourth, a third if how he's really wheeling and dealing. So that would be dope. So like I said, linebacker or running back definitely is a need, if not just for the team, not just for health reasons, but to help whatever quarterback that we have going forward. I think that would be like number one. That would be one of the bigger needs that we definitely have. And then wide receiver, obviously. Again, I do like we talked about it earlier. We got a lot of young bodies again with Hightower, with Rager, with Watkins, who can play the running back kind of scat back role and everything like that. I think all of them I think they're gonna be a big part of the offense this year. But just to have another body in there, just somebody with sure hands would really make me feel comfortable. Again, especially with Greg probably going out at some time. I don't trust our health situation at all. So the more bodies that we have at key positions, the better off we are. So wide receiver is definitely one of them. Corner is definitely one of them. Running back is definitely one of them. And those are my three dream scenarios that we get very early.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you know, when we talk about tight end, I think one of the, things that I kept in the back of my mind, you know, just based on our depth right now, is it's like who's behind Dallas Goedert at the moment? You know, we're talking about Caleb Wilson, I think the project from Buffalo, Tyree Jackson, who is kind of built like Kyle Pitts. He's like 6'6", 6'7", and you know he was a former quarterback, and you know you're looking at guys like that. When you know I was hoping in the back of my mind that you know maybe we'd give a guy like Joshua Perkins or Richard Rodgers a chance just to shore up the depth at the tight end position. I mean, you know, as far as the Eagles, like what are you guys doing? What are you doing with Zach Ertz? It seems like you want to get rid of him. So you kind of have to do something at the tight end position. You know, I guess a guy like Trey Burton is available if the Colts don't seem to retain him.
I think he got signed somewhere. Oh, did he? Yep. Okay. Yeah. Yep. If the Colts don't retain him, yeah, he went to the Colts. My fault.
Okay.
So and then went to the Colts. You're right.
Okay, so he is a Colt again.
Yep. Is he? Yeah. Last time I checked, he was a Colt.
No, I think Indianapolis had him on a 1-year deal or something, because after Philly he went to the Bears, and then I think he went to Indy for maybe a year or so. But last I known that he was a free agent. You know, I mean there's 3 tight ends right there that you know. Dallas Goedert's not necessarily. I don't think he's familiar with Trey Burton. He might be, but I think Trey Burton went to Chicago after the Super Bowl year. And so I mean, there's 2 tight ends. there's two tight ends right there that are sitting on the table in free agency that you can bring back. That Dallas Goedert knows that he's played with these guys, but I don't know. That's the tight end is arguably, and that's arguably one of the biggest question marks to me, because I mean, is Dallas going to be the featured guy, or is Sirianni going to run enough 12 personnel to have two of them on the field? I mean, I'm tossing it up at the moment. It's a little bit ridiculous. So Dan Katz also bringing up another dream scenario for himself here. He's talking about another scenario would be the Eagles trading up to 8th with the Panthers, drafting Patrick Surtain and then Elijah Moore in the second. I can get down with that. I mean, I'm okay. But, it's all going to depend. Like, what is it going to take? We already traded back from 6 to 12. You would almost have to kind of negotiate a package with the Panthers that you don't, give back the pick that you received from Miami in the first place. Other than that means that, that voids your first transaction in the first place. That's to say that we should have never traded out of 6. So
do you think Zach Ertz has enough power to warrant a trade like that?
He might. I mean, Carolina could use him. Carolina doesn't really have a tight end right now. I mean, I thought about this the other day. If Ertz goes to a team like the Panthers, he could be their Greg Olsen. It makes a lot of sense that way. I could look at what is it, up to like 6 or 7 teams are interested in Ertz right now. I know Buffalo is another one. They have a promising guy. I think his name is Grayson Knox or something, that plays the tight end position. You can tandem Zach with him in a sense. Then again, that just gives Josh Allen another weapon. So Josh Allen would have not only Zach Ertz, but he's got Stephon Diggs, and don't get me started on Stephon Diggs. We should have traded for him, but that's not here nor there. Yeah, I mean, so it does make sense in a way with Carolina also, because I don't see the Panthers going for a quarterback either if one falls to them, because they just traded for Sam Darnold. He's still on his rookie deal. He's costing about anywhere from $7 to $10 million. You're not going to draft another quarterback and then have to get rid of a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, because you're not going to keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster. That just doesn't make any sense. If it was the case that you draft a quarterback, you never would have traded for Sam Darnold in the first place. They're going to want to see what he's made of to get him out of that, mess that was the New York Jets, where they didn't bother to put reliable weapons around him whatsoever. So I would think the Panthers want to see what Sam Darnold is capable of in a better system with better personnel around him. He's going to have guys like DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey as a running back. I mean, my goodness, he's going to be set. And then who's the OC that just went there from LSU? Joe Brady. So. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty promising situation for a quarterback in Sam Darnold that's only 23 years old. Think about that. Why would Carolina go for another quarterback when you just traded for a kid that's only 23? You want to see what he's capable of. So I kind of see this situation with 8th. But it also feels counterproductive to me at the same time that you would trade back up to 2 lesser spots than where you originally were, unless you're going to somehow maintain the capital that you earned from trading back in the first place. So, I mean, yeah. So taking this scenario, Jordy, what do you think of it? Do you have anything else to add from that perspective?
Looking at it, it's like you said, it's counterproductive. And not only is it for Philly, it's for both teams, unless Carolina's going to go for a position that they really need. And if Philly were to move up, what's it going to cost? It's not going to cost nothing, and the Panthers could say, you're going to have to give us as much as you got from the Dolphins plus your pick to get up, or even more. Because it's survival of the fittest in this day, and Philly's not going to get back up there without a steep price.
Yeah. I just don't see it. I mean, you know, when you were at 6, and it's not often that the Eagles have a draft pick that's this high in the first place. If you knew that you had a better chance of getting your guy at 6, you probably should have stayed there. But, you know, I think the matter of, you know, Kyle Pitts going to Atlanta or Jamar Chase and going to Cincinnati, the potential there might have scared Howie Roseman off and saying that, you know, one of them two guys could have been who we wanted. And, you know, whatever intel he received from other organizations that, you know, maybe that these two aren't going to be there. And there was that whole BS talking about how, you know, we wanted to trade up to get Zach Wilson. Come on, stop it. Like, really? No. Don't you, like, you know, we're not going there. That's awfully ridiculous. But yeah, Birdman also puts it in there. If Howie Roseman blows the first pick, who's going to have the best reaction? I don't know. I'd have to make my vote on Jay Fizz here if it's based on this panel right now. I think Jay Fizz would have the best reaction if he blows the first pick. I mean, you've already just based on how just based on the whole Mac Hollins debacle and you know, a lot of your defense that you've had over the years for number 11 when he was still here, and you know, the amount of injuries that this team has had. You know, every time you needed to defend a point, you've put a lot of emotion and emphasis into it. So I'd have to imagine that you would have the best reaction if Howie Roseman F's this up, unless you're numb to the point where you're like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done.
Today's Tuesday, all right? I'm calm now. Cool.
Now,
if the Eagles make a pick at what time does the draft start? 7 o'clock, right? We're 12. So yeah, we'll probably make our pick around 7:45. If he makes a bad pick at 7:45, I will be in front of the link at 7:47. Okay, I have no time for this man's horrendousness. I mentally and physically cannot handle another bad pick. I'm not having it, because you're setting Nick up for failure, you're setting the team up for failure, and you're setting me up for failure. Okay, that's what's most important.
What's that pick be then?
Huh?
What would the pick be that would set you off?
A kicker. I don't know. He's not going to pick a kicker. A kicker would make me off. Honestly, that's a really great question. Again, we have so many holes. Left tackle. Left tackle.
I was going to say
any tackle. If he picks a tackle in the first round, oh my God. There we go. We did it. You got your answer. He picks a tackle in the first round. I'm going off. I have time.
So Rashawn Slater, it would if it's Rashawn Slater, then that's going to be the tipping point. No. I'm outside of Howie's house. We're having a oh man,
to get home. I just want to talk.
You'll be leading the riots.
Something's going down. No.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I can see the end happening though. I can see it happening. And that's why I'm like, all right, whatever. I can see us pressing that button, but no. Pick a tackle. I dare you. I dare you. I double dare you. Pick a tackle. See what happens.
Dan bringing it up. Quiddy Pace seems like such a Howie pick. Got to show up at the NovaCare if it happens. Yeah, no.
He got to be outside the link. If he messes this up, he's daring us to say something. And at that point, we got to answer the call. All right. I'm not threatening violence or anything. I just want to talk. All right. I just want him to explain it to me, the basic Eagles fan. All right. Whatever happens, happens. But, no. You put the corner You pick a wide receiver. You pick somebody that I know is going to be on this team and contribute, or I'll fight you. That's what we have to do now. Like,
man, and it's true because for quite a while now that the unpopular opinion seems to be that it's either offensive line or defensive line at 12, and that's been the unpopular opinion as of right now. But I mean, I think I kind of know where Jordy is going to take this as well. But it seems to me coming from the Fighting Irish stand that anybody other than JOK would set him off. But I know that's not true. I know that's not true because he loves JOK so much. But I'd have to imagine that you're on the same page with Jay Fizz here, Jordy, as to what would set you off as far as being the worst idea of a pick at 12. Who would it be for you?
Now, one thing before I get into that, I still remember last year when the Jalen Hurts pick happened, like 5 of us jumping in a call and freaking out.
Immediately, bro. The pick got announced. We were in the call. Like, what in the hell is happening here, bro? We stayed in that call for like an hour and a half just picking each other.
That's right.
I remember that.
That's right. That's right, because that's because you wanted us in there. It's like y'all need to get in here. I gotta get all this out. We gotta talk. What the hell did Howie just do?
I just want to have a conversation. That's all. I just needed to make sense to me. I don't.
Oh man. You know what?
We were literally in that call the second the pick got announced. I remember I was screaming, "What?" like for 20 minutes, bro. I remember that.
And
there was people actually defending that in the Discord too, and you were having none of it. You were having none of it. Like, there's no justifying this pick. You don't take a backup in the second round. Oh man, I can't remember who it was either.
Look at where we're at now after that pick. Look at where we're at now, bro. Look at it. And again, I like Jalen. I think he's going to be a great talent in the league and everything. He's proven that he can play. He just needs a team that knows what they're doing around him. I have no problem with that. But if you pay your #1 franchise quarterback, and then the year after you pay him, go and draft a quarterback in the second round after he had to hear all this madness about another backup quarterback, a year after he gets a concussion in the playoffs, like what else do you want this man to do? Anyway, listen. Listen. All right. You'll hear. I'll be on the news, or you'll just hear me yelling from my room.
Dad Gat's talking about Wentz definitely threw his Bible across the room when he saw the Hurts pick. That's hilarious.
I have a theory that Carson said his first cuss word as soon as Jalen got picked. All right, the very second he did it, he just let out a hard F-bomb, and then that was the end of it.
You know what? For a lot of us right now, though, for a lot of Eagles fans, they feel it's bad enough that we signed Joe Flacco to be the quote unquote backup. You know? Oh, geez.
Who did that? We're paying him.
Why did I bring it up?
We're giving him so much money, and we don't have any money, and we're giving him so much money. All this money we're giving him. For what? To not play football? Are you kidding me? Oh. Howie has Patriots. Howie has Patriots.
Flacco wants to be the starter.
In what universe? Not for the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe the San Diego Pelicans, or whatever third-rate team he wants to play for. But no, not here. Not with us. I'll take Jalen in a wheelchair before I'm like, well, Joe should get a shot. What are we really doing?
I can't, dude. I can't.
So much money. Did you see how much he got? Oh, he's robbing us, and we're letting it happen. Oh,
hey, this is the same team that paid Nate Sudfeld $2 million to sit on the bench and do nothing.
Listen,
here's the thing, though.
He didn't do nothing, though. To Jeffrey Lurie, he had the best deep ball on the roster.
Bro, Nate can play, bro. Nate can play, bro. All right, he's not
in the preseason.
He's not a cannon, bro. I like Nate, so yeah, but yeah, he did get paid money to do absolutely nothing but just wear a uniform, so that's fair. Jesus.
I wonder how Sudfeld feels in San Fran with all this quarterback controversy talk with who they're taking at 3. He's like, wait a minute, y'all forgot about me. You just signed me. Let me, let me compete too.
He knows. He knew what it was he got there.
This, you know what? I couldn't have pictured a better streaming experience, man. We're closing in on 2 hours in. There's still people engaged in our conversation right now. We're having a blast. I couldn't have pictured a better execution as to how this stream is going. Thank you guys for continuing to tune in and just hang out with us, have a laugh, get some serious talk in there with this draft, with how we feel and how we don't feel Howie Roseman is going to do. Oh my goodness! But man, if you guys got any ideas here on what you want to talk about, feel free to go ahead. I know backstage, Jay Fizz, you had some guys that you wanted to bring up that you were intrigued by in the draft. I think in the later rounds or so.
I gotta go get my list. But one of my bigger questions to you guys was,
go ahead.
Who else on this roster do you think has could also be traded pretty soon outside of that for another pick? Because I feel like this draft and next year's draft, if we don't get it, those are going to be the two big ones that pretty much set up this team for the next 5 to 6 years. And also, how bad do you guys think we are as is right now, or do you think we're bad?
I don't necessarily think we're bad. I can't imagine that we're worse off right now from the 2020 season in the first place. For as much slack as Nick Sirianni has gotten as a first-time head coach, and the kind of vibe that he brings to the table, that let's face it, a lot of us feel that we've been so used to these conventional type of NFL coaches that are in here that for the majority of the time they're all about football, no nonsense. Yeah, they'll crack a joke here and there, but they're just very serious in how they carry themselves, whether it's through a press conference or whatever. And then here we get a guy as excited as Nick Sirianni is when he talks about football. He's talking, he's talking about a competitive edge with some of these prospects and getting creative, and whether it's playing rock paper scissors or Monopoly, that's how he's trying to feel their competitive edge. But I brought this up in a couple of videos by other content creators, and I dropped it in the comments just to get my opinion in there. But people got to understand, this is part of a culture establishment, and it's not to try and diminish the potential of a first year head coach who let's not forget, whether we like it or not, bringing Sirianni in was kind of a last ditch effort in ways to try and keep number 11. Like if you can't get a guy like Frank Reich, you're going to try and get the next best thing, as right-hand man under him in Nick Sirianni. And just because it didn't work out in that manner doesn't mean it was a terrible hire. There's a reason that they hire Nick Sirianni outside of trying to keep their franchise quarterback and prevent from trading him to begin with. But what we've gathered so far is that I feel there's going to be times where Sirianni is going to be all about football, and the way he carries his attitude is that that kind of energy is what you want to see in a head coach. Is that the excitement that the excitement that he holds within himself, just whether it's talking about receivers or the different types of quarterbacks that he worked with, it excites him. And that, for as much as we make fun of him for it, that's the kind of thing that kind of goes underrated in a sense, to where that would resonate very well with the players that are on your roster. You want to play for a coach that's that energetic and really cares from a football perspective of not just making you feel like you're a cog in the system, but wanting to connect with you on more of a personal level. And he always talks about building relationships, whether it's with the players or the coaching staff. There's something positively happening here, and I can't, like I said, I can't imagine we're any worse off as far as other potential trade candidates. I can't imagine that Fletcher Cox is going to be one, because he's kind of your anchor of the defense right now until you see what you have in Javon Hargrave for a full season, even though you paid Javon quite a chunk of money, which I mean, I get it. This just like a lot of other teams in the in the National Football League, the Eagles are one where they're big with building from the trenches out, and they always want to make sure that the depth is up to par and that it's consistent, and and they have the guys in place. So I mean, I can't imagine at this point Fletcher Cox is a trade candidate, other than the fact that he amongst the other players I'm thinking of probably has the most value. Maybe outside of Zach Ertz, I don't know. I feel Fletcher Cox probably has more value than Zach Ertz does right now, just because he's been a little more consistent from a personal standpoint, from a performance standpoint. Excuse me. I can't imagine Lane Johnson being one. I can't imagine Brandon Brooks being one. They've been consistently injured as of late, too much. You're not going to really get that much capital out of them. Other than that, I mean, I don't want to put Fletcher Cox in that category, but from a price point and performance point, maybe, but I don't see us doing it.
Yeah, I think his cap hit is going to be way too much for teams to try and justify for a trade, and then also we're not going to get any real value back from him. Brandon Brooks, all right. It's not that he's not good. It's not that he's not one of the best. It's just for what we're paying him and what we've been getting out of him. And I think this is – wait, did we already restructure him and re-sign him to a new deal for another –
We restructured him.
Yeah, we just restructured him? Okay, so
yeah.
So we want to keep him around. I think I think this is probably going to be the last go around of us trying to get the best out of him before we really start having that conversation of either letting him go or trying to get some value. And again, it's not because of when he's on the field, he's the best. He's easily the best right guard in football. But it's just he's not staying on the field. And you can make that argument for Lane Johnson also, that he's consistently injured. And again, when he's on the field, he's that guy. But when he's not on the field that often. So one of them two, I can see it. And the reason why is because especially Lane is the hit on the books coming up. I think we're paying him up until 2026 at this point. Like, it's ridiculous. So we got to make a decision on either we got to start letting people go and having those real hard conversations. Again, looking at the cap situation, we're broke and we can't even keep these old bodies around. I do think we end up keeping Fletch, though, because we really don't have any succession plan after him. We got Hargrave, but there's really nobody else after that, man. We got Ridgeway is still with us, right?
Yeah, we brought him back.
And Hassan is gone too, isn't he?
who do we have? Rashawn, what's his name? The tackle out. We brought back that tackle out of Michigan State.
Yeah. So
something Smith.
Yeah, we really don't have depth outside of him. So I see us keeping Fletch just from A, we can't get value for him. B, his cap hit's too high to really be trading, and then C, we don't have anything to really back up after him. But again, I think this is the first year of a rebuilding phase, and if we're not, if Lane gets injured again, or if he's not up to snuff, he might be the next one out the door, man. That's really going to suck.
Yeah, I can't see a realistic scenario for Brandon Brooks personally, especially that he came off of 2 Achilles injuries, and you're looking at a guard who's in the later stages of his career. I mean, I get it. I get it. They do have a longevity to them, but not every lineman is going to be Jason Peters playing until he's almost 40. And
they shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be either. That's right. That's right. But I mean, in all seriousness, when we talk about, like I said, with Brandon Brooks, he's 31, coming off of a second consecutive Achilles injury. I don't think he's going to be that attractive to a lot of teams unless they're desperate for depth. But you know,
his only saving grace is that, again, when he's on the field, he is the best right guard. Like, he's the best without a question. He's the best. There's nobody messing with him.
Well, you know, I mean, Dallas may have something to say about that with Zach Martin, but you know, or is it Zach Martin right guard? I think, yeah, that's right.
I'll take Lucky Brandon. Personally, but I'll feel what you're saying.
Yeah. So, Dan Katz bringing up an off-topic question. He says, who is the quarterback that we think the 49ers are going to draft?
Nobody. Nate Sudfeld comes in and steals the job from everyone, and he's that
guy. oh man, I don't know. You know what? It's been such a roller coaster of speculation as to who they're going to take, and Kyle Shanahan's really not leaning towards any specific quarterback. I mean, the closest he's gotten to a decision, I think he's leaning the most towards Mac Jones personally, but I don't know. Like, that's tough. You know, it's been Mac Jones, Trey Lance, and Justin Fields. If for that offense, it would seem that Mac Jones would make the most sense, but from a skill set standpoint, being that I don't know where Trey Lance is, Justin Fields could be a great fit too. It's just who Shanahan feels that would give him the best opportunity as a quarterback to work around. But I'm not going to lock on to anybody personally, but I think Justin Fields and Mac Jones would have the 2 highest odds, and then Trey Lance would be the odd man out. Jordy, where are you at?
Now, I'm not sure. It could be anybody that's those top couple quarterbacks that can go in the first round. Now, where I see them going, it's very tough, but I'd say probably, like you said, Justin Fields could go. I would say Mac Jones could, but I have a big problem with Mac Jones in the fact that he played at Bama, and that's as stacked as you can get. His receivers were wide open a good amount of times. He played with the best of the best. That's something that you have to gauge. Well, what is he going to do coming into an offense that struggles in this spot or that spot or that spot? How is he going to adapt? Because in Bama, especially when Notre Dame played Bama, and people like to say, "Oh, we got blown out." Well, the team's not built like that. Nobody can stand up to Bama, and that's because they have one of the top teams in the league in college football, with receivers that constantly get open, and it's tough to say where Mac Jones could be. And that's the only reason why I don't have him going to the Niners is you don't know where he stands necessarily. You know where he stands from a skill set point of view, but I mean, you can put a lot of different quarterbacks in college. Like, look at Sam Howell from UNC, or maybe like Ian Book, who's going to the draft this year, or Zach Thomas from App State. Put them in that spot, I guarantee they'll perform very well in Bama if they got put in that quarterback position. Because a lot of people, you could put some guy off the street at quarterback and he'd do at least fine with what they've got. So I don't know.
Man, well, I'm going to throw this out. I'm going to throw this out here quick. So I don't know where you guys are. I don't know where you guys are at, but to prevent anybody's asses getting sore, pause. You know, we've been in this stream for over 2 hours, fellas. We still have an audience. After 2 hours, we still got an audience. We actually have people in the comments wanting me to post a link to turn this into a call-in show. Like I said, the potential is still there. I mean, since you guys are the guests, I'm gonna leave it up to you two as to how far we want to continue with this. I had the idea of, you know, maybe turning the last maybe 25 minutes or so into a call-in, and then we can close it out at 2.5 hours. If you guys are down for that, let me know. If not, we can make some, closing arguments or cases or whatever it may be.
I'm with it, man. I'm down for whatever, bro.
Same.
All right. You know what? So, I mean, Birdman was the first to, post it in the comments. He wants a link posted. I mean, let's, I guess I got to feed off of this success a little bit more, because, honestly, it's not even that. I'm having such an awesome time right now. And, you want to make it last as long as possible. So, with that said, I might as well give you guys in the comments a bit of a treat here and come hang out with us for a little bit. I'm going to post the link in the comments to turn this into a call-in. There it is. And whoever wants to take the opportunity to come in, hang out with us, talk some Eagles football for like the next 25 minutes or so. It is now available. You will be seen backstage by yours truly, and I will do my best to bring in whoever is up for the challenge of debate or talk, whatever it may be. But man, yeah. So I don't think we got your take while we wait, Jay Fizz, on who you feel San Fran would take at 3, whether it's Justin Fields, Trey Lance, or Mac Jones. I mean, where are you at?
I have literally no clue. I don't know what they're looking for at quarterback. I don't understand. What was the point in bringing it? Like, I know you needed to bring a body in, and Nate was there, and he still has an arm and everything like that. But, like, you already invested all this in Jimmy. So, you traded for him and everything like that, made him the guy. He brought you to a Super Bowl. I mean, I think he did get injured that year, but he still brought you to a Super Bowl. So, I don't really understand why you're kind of looking for this replacement when other things seem to be a problem, like injuries again. So I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know what they think they're going to get, but sure, it's I have no idea, no clue whatsoever.
Man. Well, it looks like after Birdman wanting a link posted, he got first dibs at the opportunity to come into the stream since it's converted to a call-in. This is the guy I was talking about who was on the road trucking, and he still participated in one of my call-ins for mock drafts, man. Shout out to him, man. Back in here again. What is going on, man? You've been in this. You've been in the stream for. You've been in the audience for quite some time, I would imagine, while watching our stream, and we appreciate you guys for doing so and the commitment of the viewers. But what's on your mind at the moment? How are you? Are you any more excited with the draft 2 days away, or what's going on?
So thank you for having me on there. This is the Birdman. I'm from Cali. I have my West Coast Birds on Facebook. I'm Birdman_951. You can reach me Instagram and TikTok. I also like to have a good laugh, so I put that with my Philly love, my Eagles. I'm like one of the hardcore fans out here in the West. I represent all the time, and what I want to say is, man, I'm so freaking nervous. I feel you guys. I just feel like I'm kind of like, I want to take a deep breath, but I can't, because I don't know what the hell we are going to do. And it's just crazy that I never been so anxious because of everything, all the turmoil that the Eagle fans have been suffering. Like we have been suffering, man. If you think about it, we've been suffering for a while now, because starting with Wentz did not work out. You know, we had the greatest thing happen to us, but now we're just having the worst things happen to us. And it's just like, where do we go from here? We're like on some sort of island, and we don't even know what we're doing. We're all just looking at each other and waiting for someone to come save us. So I hope and pray, just give us some glamour, some kind of hope. Just throw us a lifeline or something, because Eagle fans are suffering, man. We are suffering right now.
I could. Oh man, it's just. Oh, I can't even. Sometimes I can't even put it into words, you know, at the moment, where I feel that I don't know whether I should feel confident or, you know, just expecting or anticipating disappointment. I'm at that point. You know, we can make as many mocks as we want to kind of to kind of fulfill our aspirations, when we know at the end of the day, for a lot of us, you know, Howie's going to do the total opposite, and then Jay Fizz is going to lead the riots, and then the Novacare complex is going to get burnt out. So,
oh yeah,
it's me.
It is I. Marching, man.
Let me give you some hope right now. All right, I can guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, that you should be happy for the season, if only because Jason Peters is not there anymore, wasting our time, and that's why you should be happy. That's change, guys. That's change.
Yeah. As much as we love Peters, man, it's just like I don't know, dude. But let me ask you, do you guys think it's, you know, that report about Jeffries putting his hand in the cookie jar? Do you think that good old Lurie's, you know, kind of persuading these things to happen because he doesn't want to let go of certain guys, like his guys or something like that? You think there's anything to that?
Yeah, I can go. I got a theory. Oh, you want me to say it?
No, I mean, I kind of feel there's moments where, you know, Jeffrey Lurie tries to want to carry a Jerry Jones-esque type of persona, where you know, he feels in the back of his mind that he wants to be a little more involved in the operation, like in the football operation, with, you know, whether it's you know, just doing his own scouting of players in the draft, or trying to connect a little bit better to the people that play for his football team in the first place. But I mean, yeah, there's both Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman have been guilty of this, where they've held on to players for so long, like, and it doesn't even come to, like, age doesn't even come into the conversation. It's more so like organizational pedigree at that point in time. Like, you know, guys like Alshon Jeffrey, and in more present time, what Jason Peters has done over the course of his career. Deshaun Jackson, what he meant to people as an Eagle, and bringing these guys back, thinking that they still got something left, and trying to get every last drop out of that hanging fruit, and you take the gamble, and then you take the gamble and it backfires. So I mean, yeah, there could be some validity in that, and let's also bring up what Dan Katz had to say to that as well. Losing Jamon Brown was a gut punch. Lost a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer. Oh my! Yes, sir. The infamous Ravens game where the biggest moment of his career was taking a picture with Lamar Jackson instead of protecting his quarterback. Yep. I'll never forget that.
I think the three of us have done better on offense these 2 hours and 14 minutes we've been here than he did that entire game. That man is a scrub. Ugh.
Yeah, that's another problem. These players that we let go, they end up coming back and just kicking our ass. What's up with that? They have like a personal vendetta. And even DK Metcalf, he's got some major beef with us. And I even think Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson should have been an Eagle, and we can't beat Russell Wilson for nothing. So it's like these guys, and he never played for the Eagles, but they have this thing against the Eagles, man, and we need to stop that already, because that is costing us games, more than one game. It's multiple games we're getting our even Winston. I can't believe we let Jameis Winston whip our ass. That was embarrassing. I still can't forget that damn game.
When did we get?
When did Jameis Winston beat us?
I don't think it was Jameis.
Fitzpatrick?
Jameis Winston beat us in Lincoln Financial. Tampa Bay stomped on us. Yeah, like 4 touchdowns.
Talking about, when was this? What year? I don't remember this.
That was probably his best year. I don't know, he had his best game ever. I think he had 4 touchdowns.
Oh, I gotta go check that out. I remember the last time that we played Tampa and they bodied us, Fitzpatrick was at quarterback. And that's when like him and D-Jax and all them were going crazy. That's the last time I remember us playing Tampa Bay. I remember Jameis coming in.
He torched us.
Oh man,
the last Tampa Bay game I remember was week 2.
That was in Tampa too.
It was week 2 in 2018 when we went to Tampa after the ceremonial game at the Link playing the Falcons, and Fitzpatrick was the quarterback, and we got torched by Deshaun Jackson, and that's the only one I remember. But it's
2018.
We talk about
double check that one, but I'm pretty sure it was Winston, because I was really pissed that he torched us like that.
It was 2018 last time Philly played Tampa, and it was in Tampa with Fitz and Deshaun.
Yeah, because
didn't come until the year after.
Yeah, because Fitzpatrick post game had that swag about him. He was wearing D-Jax's coat and everything, and he didn't have it buttoned up or nothing. And he was talking about people doing this Fitz magic persona, and he's up there, he's feeling himself and everything, and he got the shades on and all that. Yeah, I remember that game.
Birdman right though. It was a long time ago. It was in 2015. Jameis beat us and threw 5 touchdowns.
Okay, well that makes sense, because Sam Bradford was our quarterback. Yeah,
it was 2015 though. It wasn't recently, but you're right.
I couldn't believe that we allowed him to do that, because Winston is an Eagles fan, so that's why he was all giddy.
Chip Kelly's last year with us, bro. We were boo boo.
I know, but still, man, how do you let Winston do that though? That was crazy.
Imagine.
To be fair to Winston, it's not like, Tampa Bay had Deshaun Jackson, Vincent Jackson, and or not Vincent Jackson, Victor, what's his name? What's the other wide receiver name over at Tampa Bay? That's a monster.
Evans?
Whose name?
Mike Evans?
Oh yeah, Mike Evans. Excuse me, Mike Evans, and they had somebody else there too. So they had wide receivers all over the
Chris
place.
Godwin.
Yeah, Chris Godwin. Well, 2015. No, Chris Godwin wasn't there yet.
Wasn't he?
No, he was there.
He was? All right, well, there we go.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, D-Jax, OJ Howard.
OJ Howard, I know was there. So, yeah, he was out here throwing bombs to a loaded squad. So, it was disgusting. But, yeah, man, it was 2015, all right? It was Chips last year. Sam Bradford was there. It was a bad time for everybody, all right? We knew it was.
Yeah, we get torched by Tampa Bay, but in the same year we end up beating the Patriots in Foxborough. You can't even make sense of that. You really can't. And that was a defense centric game because I think we had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and then Malcolm Jenkins had a pick six that that was in the ballpark of 80 to 90 yards or something, and that was all defense because Sam Bradford being Sam Bradford, don't even get me started. I can't. The 25th, I could, I'm not even gonna go there, but you talk about when Birdman talking about how the Eagles have to stop doing this, and this referring to, I think in a way of embarrassing themselves, for all the crap that they put the fan base through, we're trying to live through that. We're trying to live through the embarrassment of, this organization in sports media saying, people talking about, oh, I have no idea what the Eagles are doing. And, people are putting us in a category of being as messed up as the Jets and as the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's like we don't want to be in that kind of company, especially, and not to mention the fact that we just won a Super Bowl we were Super Bowl winners in less than 5 years ago. What? It's we shouldn't be in this position in the first place. So that's I can't even.
You know what, guys? Too, I was watching the game over with when Hurts against the Cardinals and the Saints, and if you really look at the game, dude, there really wasn't. We weren't doing so much crazy things, man. And the thing that bothers me the most is just how did Wentz how did he fall off the ledge like that? I mean, Hurts he was just doing simple things. And I'm like, Jesus, man, how did we just fall off of the map, dude? We fell. It's who is that? There's times I'm watching the football and I'm like, I'd rather look at my daughter playing a game or something. I didn't even know what we were doing. It was so predictable. It was so boring. It was so pathetic. I can't believe that we won the Super Bowl and that happened
to us. It's all good, Jay Fizz. I see the look on his face. He's like, oh, man, damn, I'm messing up the stream right now. No, you're all good. You're all good. But no, I mean, that Cardinals game, I think that Cardinals game was my favorite game with Jalen Hurts because it's nobody was really convinced with him after the Saints game because the Saints didn't have Drew Brees and it was Taysom Hill and Jalen Hurts had his moments and he made some throws and he used his legs, but everybody was making a focus that the defense is what helped keep the Eagles in that game because we were able to get Taysom Hill, and that was one of the Josh Sweat breakout memorial games that everybody got excited over, and that we should have Josh Sweat over Derek Barnett, and we don't need Derek Barnett, just play Josh Sweat more and stuff like that. But that Cardinals game, it's been you have to really dive into the context of that game. We're talking about two Oklahoma quarterbacks going head to head. Kyler Murray, to my knowledge, if I remember, Kyler Murray was a Heisman winner. I mean, playing for the same program that Jalen Hurts was a quarterback for after
Right.
Hurts left Alabama with the competition with Tua. He wanted his own football team. He proved that, he deserved to be the starter of his own football team. He goes to Arizona, who, at that point was still looking like a playoff contender, even though they fell off the map at the end there, and I think they finished 8-8, and not the ending that they wanted. But we look at that game and the way Jalen Hurts went throw for throw against Kyler Murray, knowing our defense was nowhere near up to par with the way Arizona's defense was playing. They had Jordan Hicks, they had Hassan Reddick, and Patrick Peterson was still there, and Buda Baker, and all these guys like that. And who did we have to hang our hats on? Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, guys like that. Darius Slay being our only guy in the secondary, which I think he ended up not playing that game, and we had to play Michael Jaquette in his place because of I think it was a possible concussion or something that Slay couldn't play.
Yeah.
So with all of those handicaps in place, and for us being down 16-0 early, for Jalen Hurts to power his way back into that game with this offense, with the way that Doug Peterson was so predictable in his play calling, to make it to where he was one throw away from making it to forcing overtime. That game was ridiculous from Jalen Hurts. And I get it. His accuracy, he could be more accurate, but it's kind of it's kind of McNabb-esque, I guess, in a way where, the accuracy isn't necessarily there, but, you got a dual threat quarterback where he not only does he want to throw the ball, but he wants to use his legs at the same time. But and this is a rookie quarterback who's only gotten 4 games in his rookie season under his belt. I mean, you want to, there's so much intrigue as to what he can do in year 2, and they're kind of setting him up for success in a way. I mean, if they didn't want Jalen Hurts to succeed, and this is the biggest thing that I don't want people to overlook, if they didn't want him to succeed, they would have not have gotten Brian Johnson as a quarterback coach. I can guarantee you that. If they didn't want Jalen Hurts to succeed, Brian Johnson would not be the quarterback coach, because out of all the candidates, as we know, Brian has known Jalen Hurts since he was like a child, 6 years old or something. And he grew up near the family. Jalen Hurts was all about football with his family and growing up and playing the sport. And Brian Johnson has been there, and but that's what I'm saying. Like, just for the draft, and Dan Katz also brings this up, the spin move by Quez Watkins, and then off of that screen pass, and then when Quez ran for that touchdown. Yeah. You know what? Quez Watkins, man, he's a late gem. He's a late gem if he can work on his route running. If he can work on his route running and he's a little more fluid, I don't have a worry with him catching the ball. But you know what? Quez Watkins is interesting, dude. But that's I don't know, man. There's so much frustration, and we have to imagine that we should be looking forward to this draft, because there is a future in place, but it's up to the GM to it's really up to the GM to kind of work in collaboration with our new coaching staff and help carry us there.
Yeah, and the thing that Eagle fans have to remember, the ones that are just like they can't stand Hurts, is that, dude, we threw him in a pit of fire, dude. We threw him in the biggest cluster mess maybe ever. It's pretty up there with the biggest messes in Philadelphia Eagles history of what just happened. And we're just like, here, dude, go out there. Even though you don't have OTAs, you barely work with the ones, and make something happen, and you know what, dude, he did it with pride, and he did it with swag, and with that, those two combos alone, he lifted up this team that was beaten to death, and gave Eagle fans, some hope and some pride. And if you could put the right pieces around him, you don't, you don't. He's not gonna be like he's not gonna be Patrick Mahomes the next year, but we don't need a Patrick Mahomes. We just need a quarterback that's reliable and is gonna work hard at what he needs to do, and he has that, and he has that talent, he has that swag, and we just have to fine tune it. But with our soap opera going on over there, how are you gonna fix anything when the organization is, as the world turns, turned into one of the biggest soap operas in the NFL, and we're nearly becoming the Cleveland Browns shortly, because if we screw this up, we're going to be the Philly Browns. We'll be the Philly Browns.
Whoa, Bird. Whoa. Slow down. We're not that bad yet. Calm down.
We're not going to go 1-15.
Bro, chill. I'm with you. Wow.
But
I mean,
you
can argue.
Point. You get my point. You get my drift.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could argue Cleveland is in a better position than we are right now. I mean, they just got.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? All right, come on. What are we doing? All right.
Like seriously, you're talking about a team that Baker Mayfield's pretty solid. That receiving core is pretty damn good between Jarvis Landry, Odell if he's healthy, Donovan Peoples-Jones. They didn't really use David Njoku that much. They just added Jadeveon Clowney to that defense with Myles Garrett and Malik Jackson went there too. So they got depth of that defensive front. They got better in their secondary. They got John Johnson III from the Rams. They signed him to put in that secondary. I think they also got Grant Delpit. They got a team going on over there, and it's looking pretty playoff caliber. So, but with that said, you know what, fellas, 2.5 hours in, this was crazy, dude. I'll tell you what, man. I didn't necessarily think we would all have lasted this long, especially making the last 25 minutes a call in, and Birdman wanted to get in here. Obviously, he wanted that link, made it happen for him, and this was for a stream idea that I came up with, off the top of my head this morning, and for in the case of Jay Fizz and Jordy, for you guys to to be able to accept being a part of this, I couldn't thank you guys enough. This was a hell of a time, just bringing two guys in from a Discord that of people that I've connected to pretty damn well, especially for the Philadelphia, especially talking Eagles, and for you guys to devote like 2.5 hours of your time on a Tuesday night. It's I can't thank you guys enough for being a part of this stream. So man, I mean, any other closing thoughts that you guys may have, and we can end this out.
Like I said, man, it's been nothing but a pleasure. I had nothing but fun. This was so much fun. Like I said, so proud of you, bro. So proud of your growth. You too, Jordy. Both of you guys. Seriously, watching you guys put in the work and be consistent with it has been genuinely dope, man. And I'm so happy. Anything you guys need from me, let me know. I'm always here for it, man. And yeah, love your community, love Birdman, except for, hey, man, you gotta calm that Cleveland stuff down, okay? We're not there yet. All right? Trust me. I'll know when we're there yet. You'll know. You'll really see me outside the link wilding out. Trust me. I won't let it happen. But like I said, I had nothing but fun. It's been nothing but good times talking to you guys.
Yeah, and shout out to you guys. I subbed up your channels today. I don't know if you guys are going to be doing Eagles content, but I think you guys should, and just continue to grow. And I'm a gamer too. I'm down to game, and just everybody just keep doing what they're doing. Keep grinding. The Eagles fans, you know, we're growing. We're out there. We're everywhere, and just we got to stick together, man. We got to hear everybody's opinion, and this is like our own therapy, man. And keep it up, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Go ahead, Jordy. What do you got, bud?
I don't have much left. Thank you, Lindy, for inviting me here, and it's been a great time. And like J Fizz said, if you guys need anything, like I've told the whole Discord, if you OGs ever need anything, you know where I am.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome to know that you know it. Just thinking about the simplest thing as just a football team allows people to connect in this manner. You know, I mean, like I just said, you know, we've been just chatting in a Discord server for years until like this very moment, you know. So this very moment we're actually, you know, seeing each other face to face for the most part. I know it's all good, Jordy. You know, it's like it's like who you guys do, you do your own thing. It is what it is, but you know, it's unbelievable to think about. It kind of goes, you know, it kind of goes outside. It kind of goes outside of football. If you think about it, and it's a little bit underrated, as you know, as something as small as liking the same football team, how it brings people together, you know, in such a positive way, and that kind of thing's hard to replace. And you know, we could use more of that on this planet, just for how easy it is in sports fandom for people to come together for the same purpose. And you know, we should be doing that in everyday life, like treating others the way you want to be treated and that sort of thing. It goes a long way. I'm a deep thinker sometimes, and I just like being a human being, and I'm not out there to be like a natural, like a everyday Scrooge. And this is it's an amazing experience. YouTube has done quite a lot as like a public platform to allow me to improve, and you know, in this kind of public speaking where, you know, it brings you out of your shell. And yeah, I may have the same stuttering problem sometimes as Nick Sirianni, but it's just me trying to bring words in the moment, as to, you know, my brain's thinking faster than I'm speaking at times, but it's an amazing feeling. So that's probably going to do it for this first successful stream with special guests from the Discord of guys that I have known for quite some time here. Like I said, Jordy, J Fizz, I can't thank you enough for being those special guest friends on this stream. I'm looking forward to more of these. Maybe I'll reach out to the other OGs in the Discord and we can have a bigger round table for that matter. You know what? Maybe I will decide a post-draft stream with some of the OGs in the Discord if they're up for it. We'll get a roundtable discussion, you know, just going over the picks that we have made, and you know, whoever else is available in the universe of YouTube with the Eagles content community. As much as I want to reach out to people, it's like, you know, I want my content to speak for itself, and I'm not going to be the one to be like, hey, do you want to collaborate? Like, you know, I'm over here doing my thing, and you know, it's like I just leave it up to whoever would want to collaborate with me. That's just how it is. I want to stay like Jordan. I want to have that GOAT mentality for this channel. So but that'll do it. Man, this has been Lindy Endzone. Guys, go check out Jordy. He's got 2 podcasts that he runs. He runs the Common Flock, and he also runs the Golden Dome, for him being a stan of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He does some he's got some pretty long podcast episodes over there. He's doing his thing. J Fizz, one of the honorary Eagles fans in the Discord. You know, you're doing your thing over there. I know you've touched on some gaming every now and then, but man, you might need to take up some of the advice of people in these comments, man. You might have to get into Eagles content yourself. You know,
we'll figure something out. This was so much fun.
You know, maybe it'll go the opposite way. Maybe I'm inspiring you to take up some Eagles. We'll see.
It might have to be that way, bro. For real, it might have to be.
Yeah, we'll see. But you know what? This will conclude a fantastic stream, man. Like I said, before I continue to repeat, this was such a blast. I want to thank everybody who viewed it, whether it was for 5 minutes, 50 minutes, or the whole 2.5 hours. Thank you to everybody, all the support. Like I got down in the scrolling. You know, if you like the content, let me know. Hit that like, subscribe to the channel, even drop some comments. I can converse with anybody at this point. This has been Lindy Endzone. I'm signing off. Take care, everybody. Look out for one another, and I'll see yous in the next one.
Go Birds.